Hi, my name is Kinetic Chloe, and
I'm Tuesday.
And we're here to talk about Pink Diamond. We're gonna do a full cosplay breakdown, and it's gonna be pretty cool. We saw Pink Diamond for the first time while we were at SAC Anime.
Yeah, it was the first night of our local convention.
Yeah.
So we were already kind of crazed.
Yeah, I had just finished working on Armored Yellow Diamond, and I was just like, ha, time for a break.
And a few months beforehand, I had kind of called like, hey, when Pink Diamond gets revealed, I want to be the one to jump on that, because Chloe had done the same thing with Yellow Diamond.
Yeah, Yellow Diamond was something.
But I had just gotten bit by the cosplay bug again because I had just finished school, so suddenly I had like free time and energy. And so we're sitting at the old spaghetti factory Saturday night, and Chloe turns to me and goes, Tuesday, you want to do Pink Diamond for Anime Impulse next weekend? And so we made this cosplay in 3 days.
Yeah, 3? Yeah, no, it was about 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Woo!
Don't do it. Don't do this at home, kids.
So it started with, I just started like Instagramming kind of discourse about Pink Diamond's puffy pants. Or I guess supposed not puffy, nothing really existed at the time.
So at that point we had just gotten that little clip from the episode where she had first appeared that weekend. And it cuts off at right about the tops of her thighs. So we were trying to puzzle together what her bottom half looked like, hypothesizing.
And I was able to get like one screen cap that like showed that there was kind of a booty bump, but like it was too much of a bump to be a booty. Unless that, I don't know.
Not with the style of Steven Universe. We didn't think that it was just like her thighs were bowling pins, you know?
Yeah, I mean with Garnet. I mean, going by Garnet, like it was like fully possible, but like there was something happening there. And I ended up guessing right. We went with pumpkin cans because we thought it was like the best way to go, based on that one screen cap I had taken. And I had like a whole voting system on my Instagram story, and everyone was like drawing things, and particularly Drop Bear drew Pink Diamond and puffy pants, and that's exactly what we went off of. We'd used the darker trim that they had drawn, and so, I mean, that worked out. But like, all these people started sending me pictures as soon as the new design release was put out, and it's like, you were right, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Good to know, we don't have to remake it.
Yay, we were all ready to remake it. We're like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I released the patterns already. By the way, they're in the link in the description below. And I was like, oh man, I'm probably gonna have to change these anyway, but you know, that's how it be. Woo, so glad we guessed right on that.
Yeah.
The night after the last day of SAC Anime, literally, I was in Sacramento, on around the corner from the Hacker Lab where I do all my 3D printing and laser cutting, and I had to go home first to unpack. But immediately after, I got the 3D print files from Hamster Parade, who's really cool. You should definitely check them out. They make amazing gems. And I was able to get it 3D printed that night at the Hacker Lab. I had to pick it up in the morning because it took about 8 hours to print. But here it is. It turned out super smooth. I guessed the size right on the first try, which made me so happy. I was scared. I was worried it'd be too heavy if we made it too big, but this is one of the biggest gems we've ever made. But yeah, so the print went really well. I was happy about that because this gem was our limiting factor. This is the reason it took 3 days. I think everything just kind of came together in that time anyway.
The gem was kind of finishing up curing as we were finishing up sewing.
Yeah.
Kind of worked out that way.
But I went ahead and took the gem, and rather than, I guess, like, casting and sanding that cast, I just put a straight coat of XCC 3D on, which is used to smooth 3D print cast, or just 3D prints. I didn't have to do any sanding, like it just ended up super smooth and ready to put into my OOMOO 40 silicone mold. OOMOO 40, I want to say 40. It's the slightly thicker stuff. And we got on the first cast too, so that was also really lucky. It was just all a good old stream of luck. I got lucky with my Yellow Diamond cosplay cast too. It casted really well on the first try. And then after we had done that mold, which took 8 hours, where could the gem be? OOMOO?
Where could we possibly store things when wearing items of clothing, Chloe? Do you have an answer?
Buckets.
Pockets? What did you say? It's your pocket.
Ah, there we go. Ooh, it's like Oprah. I feel like I'm surprised.
Whoa.
Go reach under your chair to find yourself your own Steven Universe gem. This one like turned out hella smooth, and we were really happy with it. It came out a little bit dark. But just any sort of pink dye happens to be really strong. Like I found this in like baking too. Just pink dye, man. Doesn't get off your hands. Hamster Parade ended up finding out the perfect ratio for dye to resin. Definitely pick up one of their gems. Ours, we're not making these. This is our like, Hamster Parade isn't coming out with a gem for a couple weeks, and we want this costume now, so yeah, don't follow our tutorial, buy your own, it's more worth your time. This material cost altogether was like $60. So
she couponed the crap out of it too.
Yeah, it was all kind of lucky and had extra. Actually, no, I had to go pick up Smooth On, and then I had this was courtesy Sprojanks is that? Yes, Sprojanks is how you pronounce it. Who donated to my Yellow Diamond cosplay armor fun time fund.
So because the gem worked out so nicely and perfectly with the first time, the first mold, and the first cast, it meant that we were able to focus most of our active time on actually sewing the costume and on styling the wig, which was Chloe's bit.
Yeah. I patterned this costume, Tuesday sewed it, and I patterned it based off of just kind of like slopers that were laying around, just like from my own pattern making knowledge for the most part for my classes, in combination with some paper patterns.
We also actually, this chest piece here, and we'll break it apart and show you how actually the different pieces work. We actually used the same pattern that we used in our Sailor Universe group for the bits of chest armor there, so that was really nice to get to reuse.
Yeah, we already knew it fit and everything, so this costume came together pretty fast just from our own past experiences, and that was really nice. Yeah. I used a chiffon overlay for the sleeves. You can kind of see like underneath, maybe you can't see it, but I did like a applique for that one kind of shiny area on her sleeves, which seemed pretty consistently throughout her movements, so I figured it was a costume detail rather than a lighting detail. But it doesn't show up that well under the chiffon. I probably should use more contrast.
It is nice and subtle though, so if you're not really sure if it's lighting or not, it's kind of a midway.
Yeah, the only things that like kind of made the sleeve more crunchy rather than puffy and flowy, so it flattens the sleeves rather than puffs them out. So if you're going with that route and you want to do this applique, which is in the pattern that I provide, go with a slightly less intense heat and bond product, because that's what made this feel like paper, basically. Or like, maybe even like sew-on leather.
That being said, when there's actual people's shoulders underneath here, it does still puff out a little bit.
Yeah, like Tuesday's shoulder like kind of goes out to here.
Yeah.
So you still get like a good pump. For the trim, because we didn't want to make facing, and we didn't want to do like a straight hem, we used piping, just from Joann's, so that we can get that kind of cartoony like outline look, like darker outline look. But still have like an easy kind of trim, and we just kind of like ladder stitched it on the bottom, or just straight stitched it even for some parts.
For how last minute we put this together, this was the only thing that we were working on the night before. Everything else was totally taken care of, and we needed to get to LA on time to check into our room. And so after we checked into our room and settled, we just kind of sat down and hand stitched these bits on the night before the con, but all things considered, it was actually not too bad.
We still went to bed at like 10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
and we could have gone to bed sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so that's how we did that part. We just did a separating zipper back. I dyed the zipper. Oh wait, no, I spray dyed the zipper with Tint-It master paint. I didn't want it to stand out that much because I only had like a white zipper laying around, so. And then we totally didn't hem this.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't going to be showing. So here's a good time to talk about this.
Yeah.
So this is made up of three
the overcoat, by
major
the way.
pieces. So this is the overcoat with the puffy sleeves, and underneath it there's this sort of leotard that's got the skirt kind of thing happening.
And then the front has an interesting kind of thing to it. It just holds on to your arms, really. Because we wanted like this kind of thing happening where it goes in and then goes out at the waist a little bit.
And then the third piece is the pants that are underneath, the little leotard type thing happening.
Yeah,
here.
and those have pockets. We were kind of like contemplating like, yo, should I put pockets in this or is that a waste of time? And you were just like,
I'm always here for pockets and cosplays. I didn't have to carry a bag around when I was walking at the convention, and it was really handy, and if people stopped and asked for photos or whatever, I would be like, oh yeah, sure, here, let me get out my phone, and they went, oh, you have pockets! And it was great.
Everybody's so shocked by pockets. Like, they weren't even that hard to put in, but just it's that extra added detail that people usually are just like, I'm gonna crunch, I'm not gonna do this. It was worth our time.
And in this case, the pockets actually added a little bit of extra dimension to make the pumpkin pants that much more poofy.
Yeah, and if you put, oh, this is a business card in here. If you put like some stuff in here, it puffs it out a little bit too. Yeah. So that's really nice. For the peplum,
We did the same deal as we did with the sleeves, where we had a base layer of a regular, more satiny fabric, and then a layer of chiffon over it.
Because we wanted it to match.
And it combines and creates this really gorgeous pink sherbety color that I was in love with.
We also used a full circle to a half measurement of the waist, or was it? No, I think it might have been a 3/4 circle. It's in the pattern. I had it down then when I made the pattern, so. It's actually a calculation part of the pattern. It's not actually like a drawn pattern that you alter. I provide a link in the pattern to make a 3/4 circle skirt for half of your waist measurement, and that's what makes it so wiggly. If you just go with a normal half circle, then it's just gonna like go straight out, kind of like Pearl's peplum design, more like.
So we gave it the sort of double circle skirt, and we also gave it some really heavy interfacing, and that's what gives it this dimension here without having to do any pleats or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then we've got the bias tape at the bottom to make this nice little trim.
And it also kind of ties in with the applique here, but you can't really see it through. It's technically the same color as this applique, but it just got covered.
So the leotard is made out of just stretchy spandex stuff. And what we did was we just took a pattern for a standard leotard and then chopped off the front, essentially. The coat here is also spandex, but the inside is this nice little fleece, which gives it a bit more structure and stability, and also keeps it from getting too wiggly or wrinkly.
And we also based that off of the Sailor Universe designs that we did, where we had fleece underneath just to kind of like pump fit out a little more. Cause like in the Sailor Moon designs, it's like you can tell there's like a little ridge happening where that like kind of chest piece happens. So we based it off of that.
And it works. It's actually really comfortable. It keeps you nice and warm. It's tight but not too tight, and
it's soft and fluffy.
Yeah.
For the I'm just gonna lift her. For the crotch area, we noticed that it does very much look like a diaper. This was kind of a part of the rush where just like we brought it all together in the end. We're like, oh, whoops. But we have improvements in the pattern where you use a second layer of moleskin if you're using Milliskin as the main fashion fabric for the base, so that way it kind of thickens it up a little bit more and makes it so that the wrinkles from the puffy pants don't show through and make it look diaper-like. But I think it like works for Pink Diamond. If anyone's gonna wear a diaper in Steven Universe.
She does kind of need to look like a bit of a baby. And walking around in it, you kind of like, yeah, I've got these puffy sleeves and these puffy pants and this little
And now she has little pom-poms on her
yeah.
God, we gotta update that. That's
Speaking of shoes, so because we didn't get to see the bottom half at all, we kind of just put together what looked good, and Chloe already had these really high white lace-up boots.
So that's what you see in all of our pictures in that case, just because we didn't know what the lower part went by. So we kind of guessed, and for contrast against the white, we used pink, technically, on her legs.
So her skin is pink, and we kind of just went for the guess that the parts of her legs that weren't covered up by her pants or her shoes were also going to be pink, which ended up being an incorrect assumption because that toy was released and she's got white legs. But
it would have been nice if we had done that.
So we had one pair of pink tights on hand when we made this, and we needed to make arm covers, a stomach cover, and leg covers out of that single pair of tights, and somehow managed to pull it off.
We oh god, so what we did was we took the stomach cover fabric from the bodice area, which we usually use to kind of cover this area to keep the arm socks up, but instead we used a sports bra from Walmart, which happened to be like the same color.
Yeah, it was nice. So it actually did show a little bit underneath here, but you couldn't really tell because it was the exact same color.
Yeah, so that worked out. I lowered this in the actual pattern so that way you get a little more coverage, so that way if you get pictures from underneath, you don't get like under boob shots. So that's another improvement we made. You know, we test out all our patterns before we put them out for that reason. So, and then we just kind of like sewed this into the arms with a zigzag stitch, and then sewed it into the gloves that we made. We wanted to get We Love Colors gloves, but we also didn't have time to order that because this was a 4-day decision-making process.
Yes. So we just made the gloves out of the same spandexy kind of material as the chest armor bit here to match the color. And we made them just like we make our arm socks, and then again attach them into the tights, which are attached into the sports bra.
Yeah, it's not totally.
I was very thankful I was still able to use my phone through these gloves, because otherwise I would have had to be like typing with my nose all day because I have to take off my entire costume to get my hands free.
Yeah.
Not really something you want to do on the like every 10 minutes.
And then these were the kind of leg covers that we used.
So I was wearing a pair of white tights underneath, and then I slid these up my legs and safety pinned them at the front and the back and the bottom to try and hold them on. And unfortunately, anytime I sat down, things kind of shifted and revealed the safety pins. And by the end of the day, when I took them off, the safety pins had kind of been enveloped in the tights themselves.
Like, you know how the little rolly thing at the bottom of safety pins? It got in that little circle rolly.
So we managed to ruin a pair of white tights for no reason, because she wears white tights anyway. Yeah. But we made it work.
Yeah, this was the...
So this was the very scrap of what was left after I sewed the arm covers into that sports bra bit that we were just showing you. It looks like a pair of underwear. And so what I did was I slid it onto my stomach, kind of like so.
It's very ripped. It's
and
dying.
it was not the right size, and I also had to safety pin this into my waist to make sure it didn't ride up and show. And if you look really closely at my photos in here, you can actually see the tears running along my stomach because we just did not have the material for it.
Yeah.
It held together for one con, and thankfully it's easy enough. Just throw on another pair of tights and get another stomach
Now we
cover.
have time to order more tights from Wheel of Colors, so that's the benefit there. But for this con, it was just like, woo, let's go! Whew, so yeah, that was kind of adventure there. I wish we had known about the white tights. We would have been a little more saved. But would we have? Like, we still would have had to deal with the stomach cover. Like,
Yeah,
this
we would have had
still...
more of it though, because we wouldn't have had to cut the leg and the arm panels.
This is true. This is true.
Arms.
Yeah, we could have just seen the.
Oh
Man.
well. Had we known, but
this is how it be. This is how it be.
And the way that we attached the gem was just lace front tape and slapped it onto the tights, which fell off repeatedly throughout the day.
Yeah.
Especially because it was on my stomach, so anytime I moved, it kind of wiggled, and there were a few times I caught it where it just kind of fell, like the bottom was still attached, but it was just kind of flapping around.
The gem is real strong though, so it didn't take any damage from getting dropped or anything.
Yeah.
Normally lace front tape works well on tights if you're not like in like a weird kind of motiony area. Also, I think like we were out of lace front tape, so
yeah.
Fresh lace front tape works really well. That's normally what I suggest to attach gems, both to fabric and to skin. But the thing is, like, if you get it dirty at all, like with makeup or with skin oil, then its effectiveness is gone. So you basically have to clean the area or make sure you're using fresh lace front tape to begin with. And we were not doing that. So.
Yeah.
And I showed up to God and I was like, I normally have lace front tape, and I did not that one time. So that was kind of, that's how it be.
Oh well.
And then finally we have the wig, which started out a lot different than this. We actually used a wig that we were originally going to use for Jasper that I got from Amazon. And it looked like one of those like really pretty like Rockstar wigs, like Rockstar brand. That was like really wavy and like puffy and like very fluffy Lolita kind of wig. But it came and it was real flat and we were like, yeah.
And thankfully, it just happened to be laying around the house because we wouldn't have had time to pick up a wig in those 3 days.
Dear God. But if you want to buy a wig for Pink Diamond, I definitely suggest an Arda Hansel in light pink. Yeah, that one requires very little styling. But this used to be like this long,
and it was also white.
Yeah, so I had to dye it. And the funny thing was the dye that I used was actually called rose quartz.
Ha ha ha!
I definitely suggest liquid dye over powdered dye for wigs, because when it's not properly mixed through, then you get the chance of like little specks from all the little dye pigments in the powdered version. So this turned out super even because I used the liquid dye. And I went ahead and dyed, I cut the wig to kind of a shorter length so that way it wasn't as overwhelming in my dye pot, because I have kind of a crock pot that I use. I put it in there, dyed it a little bit, so it was real light, a little darker than I wanted, because when it's wet, it always turns out a little darker. Let it dry a little bit, but still combed it out, because if you let it dry, still wavy, then you have to straighten the whole thing, which I had to anyway. I took a round brush and kind of just like pumped it up by like round brush hair drying, and that already gave it a little bit of volume, but to get all this volume back here, that was like a lot of teasing. And I would have liked to make it puffier. A lot of people were like, it's a little flat, and I'm like, I know. But this is about as fluffy as I could get it for just the amount of wig fibers that we had.
It was a pretty thin wig.
Yeah, I was like really disappointed when I got it, because you could see the little weft rows. Like, it was that thin. I'm like, oh my god. Like, this is a very deceiving picture. I'm definitely gonna get a new Jasper wig, probably from Rockstar. I really like the kind of blonde ones they have, but another topic. I ended up kind of using curlers and heat, and man, this is just kind of there's just a lot of techniques being used here. Thinning shears I would definitely recommend if you're a beginner. It's a bit of an investment, but like it's a lot easier than snip, snip, snip upward in thinning out kind of these areas. But yeah, I was going for like a kind of a 50s like beehive bump, and I think I accomplished that. It's flattened since it's been first worn. It kind of sat in a box
for like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it did have a bit more volume than this initially.
But like I was pretty happy with how it looked. You can kind of see. I'll provide some pictures. You can kind of see how it looked when it started out. Tuesday very much enjoyed wearing it while sewing. She was just very excited about it.
I have a big or an oddly shaped head, so I have issues with wigs just starting to hurt after just 10 minutes of wearing them.
Yeah, I think we snipped the back of this one.
So Chloe actually cut the final row outside in the back, which made it just loose enough to be comfortable.
Yeah, this is like wearing a hat.
And in preparation for styling this, she actually made a sort of head cast.
I didn't style it on this. I always style on a head cast or something with extra volume in the back because you never know how it's going to fit like a tiny ass wig head like this.
So she had me put my hair in a wig cap like I was going to put the wig on, and then just sort of wrapped the whole area that the wig would sit in saran wrap, and then duct taped it down to keep the shape. And then she plopped it on a wig head and stuffed it. And so it's actually had my head shape. So she didn't have to do the several, I don't know how long, hours of styling on my actual head, but we still knew that it was going to fit me when it went on, and it totally did. And I was really excited about it, and I wanted to make sure that it would fit me through the whole day, so Chloe's posted a video on her story of me sewing the costume while wearing the wig on.
Yeah, that was pure. It was good. I think Eli also tried it on. Yeah, we did that, the first Pink Diamond shoot, just because I wanted to get the fact that we made this costume. We were so happy when we finished it. I just want to get the fact that we made this costume that quickly out as soon as we could. So I did a shoot with Eli. Was it the night before?
The night before ALA at about midnight because
it was 2 a.m.
2 a.m. because access to the workspace was not super consistent that week.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be there for the photo shoot too because I wanted, for both of us to have pictures ready to go, but at that point I was at home and asleep.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that photo shoot like 2 a.m. the night before the con. I packed. Did I sleep? I think I slept.
You slept a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have let you drive if you hadn't slept.
You drove most of the way down.
I did end up driving.
Yeah, we did an 8-hour drive to LA immediately after doing all this, and then we worked at a booth the weekend. We worked for Headwink, so that was a lot of fun. It was fun to debut it with Headwink. Definitely check out their app. You can check it out in the link below. So yeah, is there anything else? I think we've covered everything.
It would be nice to touch on the makeup that we used for this.
Yes.
So I didn't end up doing a test run of the makeup, like I said, because I didn't make it to that photo shoot because I was dead tired and it was 2 a.m. But it was still super easy. Like I was doing it the morning of the convention and actually finished before Chloe because she was having some issues with her makeup.
Yeah, I was not applying correctly.
So we are both avid fans now of Mehron Paradise's body paint because
the aqua, Mehron Paradise AQ. It's specifically the water-based stuff because you can apply it really quickly and then just do like a little top coat.
And the nice thing is, as opposed to a cream-based paint like I've used in the past, because it's water-based, it can actually dry onto your skin, so it doesn't smear off as if you breathe on it, basically.
Yeah,
so if I were to really scratch at my skin, it would come off, but I was actually able to, adjust things and touch my face and look at my gloves and there was nothing on there, which was a shocker to me.
Yeah, no, that's a super nice thing about Mehron Paradise. It was pretty easy to match the tights too.
Yeah, it was super simple. You just kind of swipe a bit of the pink and then a bit of the white and until it looks nice.
Yeah, you kind of figure out the ratio as you go. That's the best advice I can give to matching tights. After this, I discovered that wearing the arm socks and then putting on gloves and then applying it is really great because then you can kind of like put your arms up to your face and be like, oh, there you go. But we were still able to get it even with that technique. It was easy enough to mix for that, so.
Yeah.
We had to like grab some extra white the night before.
So we were driving around LA and I was trying to use my phone to find us a place that sold Mehron Paradise. It was an adventure. We met some interesting people.
Yeah, that was the time, but we got the paint we needed, and we made it to the con, and ALA was a lot of fun for that reason.
Anime Impulse, not ALA.
Oh god, I went to ALA like the weekend after. Woo!
Yeah, she drove to LA 2 weekends in a row for a convention.
Mistakes were made. Slamuary was slamming.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think now that's it.
Yeah, that sounds like just about everything.
We touched everything, so I hope you enjoyed this explanation. We'd love to do more. So let me know in the comments below what other costumes you'd like to see from us, or if you have any specific questions, we'd love to answer them. So yeah.
If you're interested in doing a pink diamond cosplay yourself, you can purchase these patterns for this lovely costume from Chloe's Etsy, or you can become a patron and you can get access to patterns and projects that she makes every month.
For $2 less than my Etsy store.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so definitely check those things out. There's links to everything below. And we thank you for watching. Yeah. Have a great day.
I was thinking, oh god, I'm instinctually doing the peace sign, this is terrible, and then you managed to one-up me, so it was fine.
Okay, we're good.
Hello, beautiful Bella.
She's here to help
Hi.
with cosplay.
Oh, good. Hi. Hello. Hi. This is the other assistant manager, Bella. You know, we regularly have some disputes over responsibilities and such, since we're kind of in the same position, but ultimately at the end of the day, we're friends and not enemies.